This is The Outer Worlds. We're on Nintendo Switch. So this was one of my favorite games last year. It came out near the end of the year. I played it on Xbox, and now I'm excited to see it finally available on the Switch. And I was like, yeah, I do want to give it another whirl. So this is a few hours into the overall experience at this point in the game. So this is one of the towns you go to. It's one of the initial planets that you get to visit because there's a solar system that you get to travel around through. And we do have a number of missions. So this is an RPG experience. I call it Fallout in space, essentially, because it really does give off that vibe. But we're going to travel out. So building on that concept of Fallout in space, that's the idea of the game. It's an RPG. You make decisions. You completely customize your character to look however you want. Then you get new weapons and tools and armor, and then you have companions. You work through various quests. You enhance your character with various skills, which are right here. So what I do in my class is I like to really amp up my dialogue so that I can just kind of talk my way through everything. But as you can see, there's a lot of different ways to build whatever sort of character you want and to customize them in any way you want. And the entire experience has been carried over here, which is fantastic. So that includes like your character party that you have that you can also customize and give new skills to, and they level with you and they chill with you and they have some side quests. The whole experience is here on the Switch, and that's really great. Now with that, there were obviously a lot of sacrifices because visually this really is kind of like a little bland looking in comparison to the core game. It does run fairly well. There are some points where it like hitches a little bit and the performance isn't quite 100%, but for the most part it's not bad. It plays relatively fine. It's just really ugly looking on a 4K, and I mean, I don't necessarily mind that because it is a game I really do enjoy. It was a lot of fun to come back in and play this. So what's really cool about this game, in my opinion, well, aside from the cool slow motion and stuff like that, is the fact that you can play this game multiple times because there's so many different kind of ways to go about it. Not only in terms of like how your character looks and their class style, but also in the fact that you can make some choices that greatly alter what the experience is going to be like. So this time I went in a different path, and I've actually, I played it on Xbox a number of times. Not all the way through there, but through a different style, so that I get an idea of what the game was like. But as you could see, like I took a completely different sort of path this time, a different kind of perspective, and I thought that was really interesting. So we're going to take a quick pause, and we're going to kind of go over something that is unique to the Switch. So in the game, you actually have the option to do motion control aiming if that is something you want to do. I don't care for motion controls at all, but the option is present if you want to use it. So in the game, you also have like the default distinct ability to kind of do like a slow motion thing, which is kind of neat. And in general, it's a really great game. This, again, was one of my favorites last year. I really did love this title. I think it's a lot of fun. I love the attitude where you can kind of do, whatever you want, and there's not really anyone stopping you from doing anything you want. You got cool abilities in regards to like managing your troops that you go with and their companionship styles. And I just think it's just a generally really well done game that's a lot of fun. It's got some beautiful planets that you can go to, and it really, what you get out of it is up to you. So when I was initially playing, I usually would just go straight to try to finish the campaign because, I'm doing a review, so I gotta be quick about that kind of thing. Oh, I am out of health packs. That is not good. Because, I'm trying to be quick, so I would do my initial playthrough would be, like, really fast so that I could get my coverage and everything ready for release and all that. Whereas this time, I'm taking more time to kind of go around and do stuff. And for the most part, I'm kind of, like, almost feel like I'm power leveling my character, or, well, doing certain weird skills where I don't necessarily have to do like combat in this. So some people really like shooters, and there's different difficulties, so different challenges if you want that. That's totally fine. Whereas I'm more of a player where it's like I'm going to enjoy this by basically talking my way out of everything. And you can do that. You have all these great choices in the game. You can be somebody that, like, you know, is going into combat and fighting everyone, or you can be someone that just sort of, you know, sneaks your way by. You can do stealth, you can do like straight conflict like I mentioned, or you can do more of like a chatting. So if there's a problem, like somebody would come out and they'd be like, there was a point where I kind of like angered this person due to me taking something from them, and I was just like, I intimidated them using that persuasion option, and I made their guards and everything stand down, so I didn't necessarily have to fight them. So it's a game that can kind of really be enjoyed by almost anyone, depending on, you know, how you want to go about playing this. The choice is completely up to you. Oh, I totally forgot about this big gap here. Oh geez, so I'm gonna have to walk around or go under because I don't have the health potions kind of lined up. Well, I guess I can walk around this way. But you get the sense of what I'm going towards is the fact that you can play this however you want. And I am kind of running by all these enemies, which isn't the best way to do things, but I'm doing that in the sense that I want to show off as much as the world as I can. Jeez, except if I die. Because I want to show off as much as I can in this review so you get a full idea of what just this planet is like. +1 extra damage, and you can like eat and stuff and drink things, and they give you different bonuses. I don't think there's much for healing or something like that I am seeing. 50% rate, time dilation charge. But yeah, you just basically loot all these cool tools, you find all these new materials, you apply all these skills in order to increase the effectiveness and the stats of your character. So you see my dialogue's really high, and then you get into these subtrees where you can kind of further advance your skills, experting, you know, dealing with things. I think stealth is kind of important to some degree later on when I'm doing certain mechanics of the game. So it's kind of finding like a balance and picking how you want to do your skills, how you want to deploy them, and then on top of that, obviously advancing your companions, and you can like equip them with different tools and different abilities, and they'll be able to grant you, like, you know, new helps. I'm not diving into that one because, you know, I'm doing this review right now, so I'm not gonna fiddle around and be serious about their skills, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of context into regards of like what you can do in this game in terms of, you know, setting up your personalization and making this whatever sort of adventure you want. There's a lot of choice in how you go. I don't think you can go about that way to get up there. From what I remember, you actually have to go around this way and sneak all the way through. I don't think you can go straight over the mountains. Yeah. So there's a lot of different planets you can visit. And again, you can kind of like choose to explore those, or maybe not. You don't have to. It depends on how you're going to do things. Are you someone that wants to enjoy the full questing experience, or are you someone that's more of like someone that wants to just kind of get the story done right away and then play around with it from there, or make different choices? You can save at any point, so you can like save and then you could like attack someone, or you could basically just do that and then revert your save. Is what I'm trying to get across here. Why am I having so much trouble with the health breathing here? It's not really helping at all. But yeah, like I said, it's really up to you, and again, sometimes performance dips a bit, but for the most part it's not bad for what this is. It's just, it's a lot to sacrifice, in my opinion, just in terms of like the fidelity and everything like that. But with it, you do get this great experience, and I mean, it looks a little bit better on when it's shrunken on like an undocked, you know, on the go version of the Switch. Oh wow, actually a save point there. That's interesting. So just keep that in mind in terms of like the visuals and the aesthetics of the game, because this is something that I have played through on a platform where it does look significantly more colorful and fun. I'm just glad that you know, that the experience isn't, well, that's quite dialed back, but I'm glad that the overall game is all here, if you get what I mean. Obviously, some aspects of this aren't quite as pretty as I'm used to. Oh, that's obvious, and the performance isn't quite as good, but the whole thing is, you know, available on that platform, something that you can take on the go, And I think that in itself is kind of special, because you don't lose something that makes this so interesting. You have all the deep mechanics, you have all the aspects of the story that you can work through, you have all the different areas, you have all the side quests, and it's kind of fun kind of just, going around talking to people, and that's always something I love about like the Fallout titles, is that you can kind of do a chat method, or you can do a combative method, and you can play them however you want. You're not necessarily stuck to playing them in a certain way, and I think that kind of makes the experience a little bit more fun, that you kind of choose your dialogue style, you choose how you combat enemies, how you fight things. I think we might actually go for a bit of a stealth mechanic in this one, just kind of show that off. But you see, you have these alert systems, and they give you this like sandbox area, these open worlds that you can interact with however you want, and you get your companions to kind of work with you. I assume they would be near me crouching too. I don't specifically know where they are right now. They're probably off fighting something, getting me XP. Doesn't matter. They're actually really helpful and stuff. And they've got their own thing going on too. And there's just like a lot of complexity to what this experience is and what it provides. And we're going to get into a fight here. But yeah, it's just like a really great and well done game. It's so much fun. It's got such a neat style to it, and it is just generally a really neat game, a really good game, and something I've thoroughly enjoyed playing, multiple times in, which is not something I always do in games. I would like to mention again, some aspects visually it could be better, but I think my weapon's kind of dying out there. We'll have to get something like the plasma gun. And while that is the case on Switch, that the visuals and stuff are dialed back, I think the fact that you get the full experience is nice. Now, loading-wise, it does take a while to load. So that's an ability I have where people are kind of, like, scared of me. Oh, jeez. So I can, like, shoot at them and they kind of get, like, a cowering effect. So I think that's kind of interesting. But, yeah, loading-wise, it does take a while to load at times, which is a little bit annoying, but the core game on other platforms also takes a while to load, so that's kind of just expected when you are playing this title. But it might be a little bit long for when you are on the go and stuff. I could see people having an issue with that, but that's kind of just how it is as part of this. So it does, it's not perfect on this platform, but I think this is a really great game that is certainly worth your time. It's worth the fun you can have. I do have some bits in order to buy things. I'm trying to see if I got like any health packs I could buy, bypassing for that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's just like a wealth of content in here. There we go, an injectable. How much can I buy? We'll get 6 of them so I can kind of tank through things. Oh geez, that's the wrong injectable, wasn't it? Supposed to get the inhaler. But yeah, it's like a wealth of a game. There's many different places to visit. There's many different things to do. It's a lot of fun. I guess we'll inject that. We'll get the healing going. And it's just generally a really good game. I really want to put that across. It's got a great story that you kind of choose. You pick different points. The main story can be quick, or it can be something that is, actually fairly lengthy. Your game time really depends on how much you want to get out there in the world, how much you want to explore. And I also like that with that, it is a game that has like a limited scope to it. It's just not, some ridiculous thing that goes on and on and on forever. It has key points, it has key structure points, and you get to choose what's going to happen. And we're kind of going through this dialogue a little bit quickly, just kind of showing you some of the choice options that are present within the game, and hopefully we'll see how many marauders. It's kind of open for something like dialogue wise where I can get to choose what's gonna happen. So I think we actually gotta fight our way through this area, but yeah, it's a pretty cool map. So this is just like one of the areas, and it's a lot bigger than you think it is. It's actually like a fairly expansive environment that you get to explore, and this is just one place. There are other areas. There's a cool dreadnought ship that you get to kind of go in. There's some other weird planets that you get to visit. The first planet you visit is really neat because it's like sort of overrun to a degree, and then it's got one area where there's like a packing meat thing, and you got to make all these choices, big choices that will affect your experience now and also the end game that you're going to have later on as you continue to play this. Where am I getting up to the second level at? Sorry about this. I think I got to go back outside in order to do this, and then I do some quest thing for this guy, and then he comes out and we chat, and it's this whole big thing. And yeah, there's the whole hacking situation too. You can hack into various structures if you so choose. Oh yeah, okay, we do this one. And then of course we got our squad, and you can also talk to them and see how they're doing. You can like send them off into the ship. You can only have so many companions at once. You can give them different abilities and deal with different enemies. It just it's a really good game. It's just very well done. The Switch port, like I mentioned, some aspects of it could be a bit better, but I think they kind of definitely did it as best as you can do with this kind of thing in regards to putting it over to this platform, this porting. And I'm just happy to see that it's available to a new audience that can enjoy it, because it is something that I had so much fun playing. We're like kind of weird super fast structuring thing here, and again I definitely suggest getting like as many characters as you can involved in your squad, because it's fun to see the dynamics of it. Wow, that guy was right there. And do save often if you can, just in case you die in that. Just create those save points so that you have somewhere to go back to. You don't want to always rely on your squad to do everything. Parvati's just like a tank. I love the slow motion aspect. But you see how like some guys kind of cower due to my abilities, and I think that's kind of fun too, that you can create that kind of character where it's like people are scared of you when you're going around and attacking them. I think that's kind of fun. Oh jeez. And it's just making whatever kind of character you want, making whatever choices you want in the galaxy, and having a good time doing it. There we go, we took all the Marauders out. So that is generally the Outer Worlds on Nintendo Switch. I think it's an experience that if you didn't play it on another platform, you should. If you're coming back to it and you want to keep playing it because you had a good time, yeah, this is the right way to do it. I mean, if you want to take it out on the go, I think it's a really good option for, traveling gaming, having this kind of expansive, huge world. And I think it's maybe as close to Fallout as we're going to see on this platform, because again, it is like Fallout in space. That's what I equate this game to. It has those mechanics, it has that base to it, and it just plays around with it in some really interesting ways. Fire suppressant, yeah, sure, why not? You just use the terminal in weird ways. I guess that's all I can do. That's funny. But you can like kind of do all kinds of weird things, little different ways of tackling things based on your character, based on your experiences, based on the loot you have, the weird relationship skills you set up, how you want to deal with people, the choices you make, your reputation in the different sectors of the world. Whoa, there was a lot of stuff in there. There. And you can also sell your junk too. And it's like, do you want to go do a side quest, or do you have the persuasion or something to completely avoid doing that quest? It can happen. It's got like a funny, quirky storyline to it. Some really weird characters. You can be a great person, you can be a bad person. And I don't think you necessarily, are one way or another locked out of things based on the choices or the decisions that you make when you're going through this place and doing things. And this isn't a very important quest, so I'm glad that it doesn't really wreck the narrative stuff. And I want to say the character models surprisingly hold up very well in this, in comparison of like other games where they notch things down. It seems like they did a good job kind of tech-wise in regards to making sure that these moments, these standout moments here where you are chatting with people, actually do look even better than, outside of them. And I think that's a neat touch. Yeah, and it's all full dialogue, full experiences. And yeah, that is the Outer Worlds on Nintendo Switch.